All right, welcome back, everybody. National School Choice Week is now underway, and here with more on how it affects education is the president of National School Choice Week, Andrew Campanella. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about school choice, why it's something that maybe even people who have never taken advantage of it, what they should know about it.
Sure. Well, families in Wisconsin and all across the country have more options for their kids' K-12 education than ever before. And these options range from traditional public schools to public charter schools, magnet schools, online academies, private schools, and homeschooling. And the state is making it easier for families than ever before to choose among all these different options.
You know, I think about so many things that seem to influence education as well as socialization probably for kids today. You think about iPhones, you think about iPads, you think about computers, you think about gaming systems. From your perspective, how do you see it changing education for our kids today?
That's a great question. And you know, you're absolutely right. Kids are growing up in an interconnected world. They know more about technology than I will ever be able to forget. They are so knowledgeable when it comes to how to fix things, how to turn things on, how to make things work. And that's important for schools and parents to understand as they're developing curriculum and making sure kids are learning at high levels. It's no secret that as a country we have some challenges when it comes to getting kids proficient in subjects like reading and writing. So what we need to do is harness technology in a positive way, and we're doing this in many cases through apps, through online courses, to get kids proficient and inspire them to learn.
And what about as it relates to choices that as parents we help make for our kids as it relates to schools? How do you see technology affecting that?
Well, the first thing that we're seeing is in Wisconsin and in many other parts of the country, there are statewide full-time online schools. And these schools are doing great work to educate kids who were not being well served in a traditional bricks and mortar school setting. So those schools are doing some fantastic work, as I said, but you also have things called course choice, where parents who might be homeschooling families want to tap into an online class for a subject, or parents who are sending their kids to a bricks and mortar school might want their child to take a specialized course. They can tap into something called a MOOC, a massively open online course, and have their kids learn from one of the best educators in the world. So it's a whole new paradigm when it comes to education and how we are educating kids using all these new platforms available.
Do you have concerns about the way technology might be replacing the interaction, the personal interaction between students and teachers?
Sure, I think there's always a concern with technology that you can go overboard, and you know, we've all seen people sit at restaurants looking at their iPhones or looking at their cell phones and not looking at the person across the table. So we don't want that to happen in schools. So what we want to happen is for them to use technology-based education and then put down the tablets, put down the laptops, and talk about it as a class and have teachers interact with students on a one-on-one level. So we can encourage learning using technology, you know, for in the classroom learning and at homework, but also make sure there is that direct conversation between humans.
Well, I also wonder, too, you know, Wisconsin's like a lot of states that have rural areas where kids still need to be educated. And I think technology could be a huge plus there and give kids in remote areas the kind of access to educational programs that might not be available to them close to where they live.
That's absolutely right. And this matters a lot to me personally. I live in a rural area, and I think we need to make sure that kids who live in rural areas get a world-class education. And they should have all the opportunities that a kid in a big metropolitan city would. And it's just difficult for some areas that might be more remote to find teachers for certain specialized topics. But online learning, digital learning, advanced uses of technology can make sure those kids are not left behind. They can access some of the best education possible.
The only criticism we've had is that we're somehow trying to promote some sort of political agenda as it relates to National School Choice Week. How would you respond to someone to that question and the role of politics as it relates to this time of year?
Oh, Well, it's a non-political time of year. It's a non-partisan time of year. It is a time where parents can either celebrate the options that they've made for their kids' education, or if they want to choose a different school, they can take a look at those schools and make sure they do it in time for the next school year. Because a lot of families, sometimes they wait too long and start looking at summer break instead of looking now. So there's no political agenda behind school choice. The reality, though, is there is a political agenda by folks who oppose it. And there are folks who don't even think that parents should be able to choose a different public school within maybe a 5 or 10 mile radius from their house. And I would ask those folks why they would deprive kids of an opportunity to pursue their own American dream. So sad.
I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on that question in particular. Thank you so much for joining us, and tell us where we can go for more information.
Sure, you can go to schoolchoiceweek.com, schoolchoiceweek.com.
Andrew, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.